Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the September Town of Delafield Plan Commission meeting. I'm calling the meeting to order, and let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on tonight's agenda is the approval of the minutes of the August 5th, 2025 meeting. Any discussion items from those minutes or comments?
A motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries, and the minutes are approved. With respect to communications, is there anything new as far as communications, or we have the submittal of the developers agreement for phase 2 of the condominiums in Welshire Farms?
Yep, so there's a memo in your packet just describing, this is only just to keep you updated on the Welshire Farm development. There is no action required from the Plan Commission or being sought at all. It's just a memo to keep you updated about where they're at in the project. They have submitted a developer's agreement for review that will get seen before the town board at an upcoming meeting. And the town attorney, myself, and the town engineer are currently reviewing it. So after we've reviewed that and provide comments to Newman, it will go before the town board.
Okay, thank you. And with respect to unfinished business, we have item 4A, consideration and possible action on a request from Warren Hansen, agent, on behalf of John Burgett, owner, for a conditional use permit to construct a storage unit facility, North by Northwest Storage, on property located off State Highway 18, west of the We Energies building. Tax key DELT 0843 998 002. Ms. Lado?
Okay, so this development is back again before you after making some changes, after receiving comments and feedback from the last meeting. So the overall development plan has not changed. I did put into the report just the previous action that's been taken, just to kind of keep track of the record about what comments were made at each meeting, the January meeting and the August meeting. So the main differences that you'll see is with the architecture of the building, the lighting plan, the landscaping, security, and fencing, and then there's a revised plan of operation as well. So we can start with the architecture of the building. So they have revised, they are proposing to have wood siding, as you can see here, in a 412 pitched roof. The architecture has changed slightly as well, just to break up that.
On the screen?
Oh, thank you. I thought that it was that, so yes. There we go, sorry about that. Okay. So you can see that they have windows, which they had windows before, but they're just a little bit of a different design to help accommodate and break up some of that siding, and it's on all sides as well. So here are the exterior elevation, the interior elevation, and the side elevations of these buildings. And it has been, like I mentioned, changed to wood siding. And there's some other renderings of it as well. And if we go to this first page, the lighting has also significantly changed in order to comply with not only the lighting requirements that are in the conditional use provisions, but the lighting chapter. The lighting has been significantly reduced. The lighting that is being proposed now is only within the interior of these buildings. So this kind of main throwaway here that will go back to the phase 2. So I've confirmed with the architect that that's sufficient lighting for something like this, and they said, yes, this is really all they need for this type of use, and they're complying with the ordinance as well. So they're at 0-foot candles, they're meeting the 2.5 lumens per square foot of hardscape that's on the property. There's no light pole anymore at the entrance, and it's all downcast cutoff lighting at the over the main overhead door on the interior. The signage being proposed is shown here in the rendering. That will come before you again at a later date when they're ready to actually install it. But this is the rendering that was shown at the last meeting as well, and has that base column that kind of tapers up, and then has this sign here that is about 8 square feet. So that will come before you at a later date. It's not really up for discussion at the moment. The landscaping plan has also been revised. And this is the landscaping in between the buildings and the road. So at the last meeting, there was discussion about the landscaping not being incorporated into the security fencing. So here is this fence, the black outline here, and we can talk about the fencing in just a minute. Now the landscaping is just a mix of perennials, evergreen shrubs. You have additional autumn blaze maple trees here. There's 6 of them, and then there are spruce trees as well that will be along the property line. We'll look at that on sheet 2 here. But you can see that here's the sign here on the other side of that security fencing that meets the setback requirement, and then the landscaping is quite robust in front of the security fencing and around the sign and the development overall. On the side that abuts We Energies here, there is, let's see how many there were, 16 spruce trees on just this eastern property line. There's also this very large berm here along the We Energy side as well. So you've got the 16 spruce trees, and then there are additional 12 spruce trees in the back of the property. So here's the stormwater pond around there. There'll be no mow grass, which is typical around some of these stormwater infiltration basins, and then the spruce trees around there. And then here's the outlines of phase 2. Before that, security and fencing, just kind of zooming back in there. The fence that they're proposing, they're showing some pictures now, more pictures of it from comments from the last meeting. So it is that 3-rail fencing in white. And here are some pictures of what that will look like. It's 4 feet tall. And we'll go around the, let's see, the location has not changed, so it does remain around the front portion of the building. Like I said, on the east side, there is a big berm, and on the west side, there's already significant landscaping there as well, and there's quite a steep hill, and it's private property. And on the rear, there's a river and floodplain and wetland to trudge through. So I guess it will still be up for discussion on whether or not the fencing is meeting the requirement. You'll see in the conditional use chart that I left this one up for discussion. I think there was just mixed varying opinions about this based on the way the code reads, which calls for ornamental decorative fencing, but then it's also saying security fencing. So it is meeting the material requirements, which just are that it cannot be of certain materials, but it can be the vinyl material that they're proposing here. So that can be something that you might want to discuss amongst yourselves. And the security cameras are the same as the prior meeting with the 14 different security cameras that covered most of the property to some varying degree.
Before you go off that
Sure.
slide, if you zoom in on the entrance there, dashed line that would seem to imply something like a gate just behind the fence.
Here?
No, this right here. Is that a gate, or is that just an erroneous line, or?
No, there is no gate proposed here. Overhead lines, I'm not quite certain what that is. That could just be a drafting error. I don't see that anywhere else at all, but there is no gate
Okay.
that's being proposed. The hours of operation remain the same, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., which is consistent with the conditional use standards. Town engineer has approved the engineering from the last plan, so that has not changed. Same with the stormwater permit from Waukesha County that was approved back in June. And WSDOT has also granted approval of the access location as well. So I just want to break this up. This is maybe a little bit different than how you've done this in before. I did bring up last time conditional uses and site plan of operations do technically require two different actions to be made. The conditional use will go on to the town board. Plan of operations do not typically go before the town board. This is generally seen as one development as a whole. But just, I've tried to lay out recommendations for you to help with motions or discussion points, either for or against this project, in the way that you can see there's a conditional use and a site plan of operation, which is also how it's listed on the agenda. So there are varying conditions here. These are essentially memorializing the plan sets that were submitted because there's been so many different versions of them that they need to be consistent with the plan sets that are meeting the ordinance requirements. And then the other ones are coming out of our operational details that are out of the ordinance that I like to memorialize in permits. So Town of Delafield has historically not issued actual permits with these types of uses. And so I will be doing that, and those permits will be, like, these conditions will be incorporated into the permit so that there is something that someone can take with them and say, here is my permit, here are my conditions of approval for my operation. And if someone wanted to change one of these conditions or modify them, then they would need to come back and get an amendment to their plan of operation. As far as the conditional use goes, self-storage facilities are a permitted use with a conditional use in the M1 district. That is a use that is provided for with a CU. And then I did note, as I was kind of reviewing this, I do have one error here in the conditional use decision worksheet. The bold was a little hard for me to see, I remember, on my computer, but it's O, which is the hours of operation and nighttime security lighting plan shall be included in the plan of operation. On column D, I have no highlighted that they haven't met the requirement, but they have. And it's listed there in the substantial evidence that the operation will cease at 9 and the lights will be reduced 25% after 10 p.m. in accordance with the lighting ordinance. So I just missed switching that one over. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I know the applicants are here as well if there are questions that I cannot answer.
So with the, with B, can you explain that one as far as your, under your worksheet?
Sorry, which one?
B is in boy? It just said, it said, no, the condition wasn't met.
Oh, I missed that one too. I'm sorry. It is yes. So in the substantial evidence, I tried to lay out their building 1 and 2, their distances. You have 113.9 feet and 107 feet. The requirement is 50. The side yard offset to the east is 50 feet, and to the south, sorry, I'm taking this partly from Tim's and partly from mine, is 107 feet. The requirement is 50 feet, so they're meeting that requirement. And they're meeting the open space. I did not finish doing that one correctly. Sorry about that. I had Tim's draft from January that I had found and tried to write over his and did not succeed very well. So let's see. They are meeting the open space. They have 55%. They're no longer short, so they cut out some pavement. So that is meeting the requirement, and they are meeting the overall height as well. Oh, excuse me, that is an error on my part on this report. It is a condition, is the requirement met? The answer is yes. And then the one I have blank is K, which is about the perimeter security fencing, which is something that I had mentioned was up for your discussion.
And the fencing, didn't see it. Is it in the base setback area or no?
Nope.
Okay. You have, is there anything else that you'd like to present, Ms. Lato, or?
Nope, not at this time.
And does the property owner want to speak for a few minutes, or are you good for?
I can speak to it.
Yeah, just like 5 minutes. We've already heard about this project for like a long time. So,
I don't need to speak, but I will.
no, it's fine. I'm just saying if, no, I was just saying if you had something you wanted to say, because I know Ms. Slater covered it thoroughly, so. If you just have to approach the mic.
This is my engineer,
Okay.
Warren Hanson.
Sorry, I know it's, for the people online to hear you, we have to have you at the microphone.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, relative to the fencing and security, we presented at last meeting about the security cameras. It's roughly $50,000 to $60,000 worth of cameras to cover the whole site, and that's recording anything that's coming and going on a 24-hour basis. So that's what we're doing in lieu of a fence that wouldn't be really security anyway, because they could climb through it or over it or whatever. So,
Okay, thank
in lieu
you.
of that, I just wanted to say that. And of course, the plan follows what was approved for the zoning originally, that we presented a drawing, and that's what was approved when they rezoned it. So that also is in line with what the board did back last year.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion?
Have we had the fire department look at more, this more has to do with phase two, just the ability when the area between the buildings, I mean, so if you've got someone there and they're you're going inside their unit and their car is parked there and they're moving things in and out and we need to get the fire in, has our own fire department looked at to make sure there's enough room for turnaround, pulling up, pulling back, and from a safety standpoint?
That's a 60-foot roadway between the buildings, 60
Right.
feet.
Yep.
And the reserved parking space in front of them, of the buildings, is only 20 feet on each side. So you still have a 20-foot lane to go through there. There's no parking at all that's going to be allowed. And the other parking is only for the owners to pull up to stop, unload something or load something, and then they would go from there. But there's no overnight parking or no long-term parking going to be provided outside.
Well, and the question was really more for the town. Do we need to, have they looked at it? Is that necessary for our fire department to look at it? That was really
I
why
know
I'm bringing
we've-
it up.
I know we've done that before. I know when there was the discussion of the winery at Lindale, at the farm building, that was actually what stopped that project, was because it would have needed fire code. So, I mean, there is precedent for having the fire department just take a look and see if it's possible. But obviously, that was an existing building, this is not. But I know there's precedent for the fire department just making sure that they can meet the, we don't have a fire that can't be treated.
I think a 60-foot roadway is plenty to get a fire truck in and out of there. I mean, it's bigger than most private drives in Shaniqua, so.
It was more if there was just something in there at the moment, if people were actively doing things in it. I mean, most of the times, you're right, it's right. I just wanted the rubber stamp, I guess, to feel better about it.
This does meet the FTA, the fire department, or the fire code for turnarounds. In other words, it has to, if it's a cul-de-sac or a dead end, it has to be a certain circle to do it, or a T, and we have Ts or loop roads that go through the whole project. So it meets that code. And if it wouldn't meet that code, we wouldn't get approval from the state either for the building, so they look at that also. So.
Do we have anything in here? I was just peeking through to make sure I didn't miss it, and maybe it's not necessary for the operations, for maintenance, because I know there's the significant landscaping, but do we need to put it in here now or not about maintenance, continued maintenance?
I think it's a requirement in the code as far as if there's dead things, they have to be removed.
Okay.
And they have to be maintained.
So it's
I
already
think
included.
It's actually part of, and I don't want to speak, but it's part of the code that it has to be maintained.
Yep, so if you look at condition number 12, it says that the condominium restriction shall include at a minimum operational details that are noted herein, the maintenance responsibilities of landscaping, open space, and stormwater management. So that will all be covered within the condominium developer restriction, or declaration of restrictions there.
And can you just remind us again, because this has gone on for a while, I know at one point these were going to be leased and sold. Can you just, again, just kind of go over that for everyone to hear what the intention of the owner is for these, because I guess it's been a while.
I'll let John talk
Okay.
to that.
I'm the owner, John Brigette. We probably will just be selling them because we have quite a response for that. That doesn't mean that we might lease some, but more than likely, most of them, like in Lake Geneva, were sold, and that's why we're probably going to be selling them. It's quite a bit of a demand for buying instead of leasing. That doesn't mean we might not lease too, but
And then when someone buys it, do we, again, I'm just thinking
you
through
got
here
it.
that, so then you've got someone buy it and then they sublease it. I just want to confirm.
Right
that-
now, we have restrictions on that in our declarations, and so we got to get a vote if they're going to sublease it in our condo declarations.
Yeah, and I think that could be something that the town considers too when they're reviewing the declaration of restrictions, of whether or not they want to allow something like that.
So as of right now, what we would be approving is not available for being
Subleased.
subleased.
Right.
I'm
Now,
just
that
confirming.
could
Okay.
change if they decide, like at Lake Geneva, nobody's done this, but they could have a vote, the homeowners association to vote and say, hey, we want to be able to sublease. That could change. We're not right now allowing that.
And if they choose to put that in there and you choose to accept that, you could also put provisions that they need to get a plan of operation for that unit. So you know it's going in there, what it's
Yeah.
being used for, and that property owner also, or that leasee understands what provisions are. A lot of other municipalities do that as well. Each individual storage unit has a plan of operation with it. So let's say that it's leased out for like a landscaping business to keep some of their, equipment in. They have a plan of operation, and really that's to make sure that fire code's being met, that there's not flammables and explosives in places that there shouldn't be, things like that, is what it's being looked at, and that they understand there's hours of operation, right? You can't be going there at midnight to get something out of your unit. So I think so just know that if they choose to propose that, you'll be reviewing that as well.
It'll have to go in front of you. Again,
Any change.
any changes.
There will be a condominium plat done and a condominium declaration with it done by his attorney. And those would be submitted to the town for review and approval. And in that document, the declaration describes all of the responsibilities and the care that has to be given and all of the actions involved. So, and you would see that because we'd have to submit that under your subdivision ordinance for approval.
And the ones in Lake Geneva, I know that's not what we're looking at, but I'm just,
I
for just by
understand.
matter of discussion.
Right.
Those are, some of those, just like, for instance, have restrooms.
Yes, some
Okay.
do have restrooms, yes.
Okay.
And that's just for convenience, so they don't have to leave or have a porta potty. We're trying to be a little more upscale and have, so we don't have porta potties or they have to run wherever.
Also, no overnight staying.
Yeah, we have that several places in our declarations.
So is the restroom that's in the manager's office of the town Delafield one open for the guests to use? Is that in there for more the manager, or do other people?
For everybody that bought or that's in there,
Okay.
yeah. We want to make it convenient if we can.
But no individual restrooms in each one?
There could be, yes. We could have individual restrooms. If they decide they want it, we will build them, if you allow it. Now, if you guys don't want to, well, you
Because
don't
right now,
have to,
that's,
but-
my catching's right, it's not on the plan as of now. Right.
I think in the plan of operation, it had 2 restrooms being
But those weren't
proposed.
individual, they were ones for like the common ones
Yeah,
for them
that
to
was
share?
Not common bathrooms.
Yeah.
Right. I guess I'm just talking about the big
Oh, no.
picture of it. If all of a
No,
sudden, we've
we're
got a
not
couple
trying to-
bathrooms and an office bathroom, then all of a sudden we've got bathrooms in every unit.
Not in each
I think
unit.
it says 6 or 7 of these are planned.
Correct.
Correct.
You got that right, Jennifer. That's exactly right. And if you don't want us to do that, that's fine, but we'd like to have that available for some of the buyers just want their own private facilities.
We've already worked with language like that when we were looking at the toy box. I mean, we already have gone through the several meetings revising that type of language. We have experience with that, and overnight stays, and, I mean, wouldn't be the first time we've gone through that, and those restrictions have been put in
Well,
place.
it's no different than the units that are just down the street from these proposed units. I mean, those units that are currently existing do have restrooms in them, some of them do. So.
Well, restrooms are by far preferable to porta potties.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. We're not
like,
wanting,
on every level. So,
And just a comment that on some of the paperwork, it's consistent on some, but not others, would just be to kind of make sure that Town of Delafield is written. Sometimes it's just Delafield. It was just a
right, and
comment
that's
to,
what we'll do on our sign too, is make sure it's, your town of Delafield is on our sign.
as opposed to just Delafield.
Yeah.
I think one thing we discussed last time was having in your plan of operations, a definition of like the short-term and long-term parking. And I think last time you said it, like, short-term was like 20 minutes and long-term was like an hour and a half or something. I think that was the discussion at the last meeting.
Yep.
Warren, come on.
Yeah, that's basically correct. It was an hour and a half maximum and 20 minutes probably to just stop, open up something, put something in. Now, the one thing we talked about, the larger units here are buildings 1 through 6 and 9. 7 and 8 are cold storage buildings as they're planned now, 7 and 8. And those that have doors on each side of the building, and those were planned to be the rental units, okay? But it could change by the owner to try to sell the whole building at one time. We went through this once before, a couple years ago, and the decision by that town board anyway was that if you're going to condominiumize the site, and that was fine, but then we want to condominiumize the whole site, including any of the rental units. So what we did there was the rental units were one unit owned by John Burgett. And then the other units were individual units that were owned by individual owners, okay, other outside owners. And that's how that was done. And then there's a 30-page document that was put together relative to the declaration and the statements of what would happen and what would be allowed within the units. And that was all covered in there, along with voting rights to the condominium, the organization of the condominium, the owners association, what everybody was responsible for, and all of that. So at this point, on the plan that was submitted and was discussed, we have cold storage rentals in buildings 7 and 8. I suppose it's possible that nobody wants those or something or whatever. John would have to come back and ask for a change if there's going to be one. But right now, that's the plan. Okay.
Any other?
One other comment that I know you guys have been taking a lot of your time. It's to our advantage up here to be able to sell these, because if we just rented them and you got the tax base, and I know it's not a fiduciary thing, but the township is gonna gain a lot more tax revenue by me selling these than to renting them. Because that building, let's say, one of the buildings would be about 500,000 on tax base. When we sell them, the 10 units would add up to about almost $1.5 million to $2 million. Not that, again, that should be I know you're not doing that to gain tax base, but I just wanted to let people know that it is an advantage to the town of Delafield to have them condoed. If that makes any sense.
Understood.
So you're comfortable with the language that was added on the,
You know I read it. So,
I was waiting for, I know there wasn't a
No, no,
specific time period.
No, I was
but
actually,
it's-
I was pleased with the improvements and the plans and that there was actually some effort put in. And so, but I think the only concern is I know the code was prohibiting like parking outside, so that's the only terminology I think that I'd want to tighten up, is just that last time they said it was, 30 minutes for the short-term parking and an hour and a half for the longer-term parking, so we don't have RVs and outside storage that that's hard to enforce, that it's just like short-term parking outside these units.
Well, isn't that covered when we say no outside storage? I mean, and no overnight parking?
Well, they had short-term parking, and that's where I was.
In our condominium documents, not.
I was in the
No,
middle of a
I'm
sentence.
sorry.
And so I think the only concern is like what the definition of a longer-term parking was, because that was what the terminology that was
Sure.
used. And I don't want longer-term to be read as a month. Like,
Sure.
I think different people can have different interpretations, so I think it might be beneficial just if it's clear, because it's not in the code that you can have outside storage or parking, so that was the piece of it. And I don't really care what, as much what the time frame is, just the fact that it's definitional so that it's easily addressed if we have a boat that's parking outside that we all see for a month, that we can say, okay, that's not longer term pursuant to what we discussed.
So I think to address that, because that was kind of confusing language that they had in there, the short and long-term parking, they had just taken that out altogether. So in 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth paragraph, it says temporary short-term parking, and then he added in red for quick dropping off items to units on site. So tried to put a little bit, it's not time-bound like you're describing, but a qualifier that way of like what short-term parking meant. And then added in for what was called kind of that long-term parking, just describing what that actually means, like what was meant by that, was just to be able to actually park out there during their operation so they could utilize the unit while they're parked there.
Yeah, no, and I guess just the lawyer in me prefers
Sure.
numbers. And so that's just so that again, it doesn't matter tremendously what the numbers are, but just that, no more than blank.
Sure.
If it's shorter term and no more than blank, just so that we're not dealing with enforcement issues.
So if you are inclined to make a motion on this today, I would recommend adding a condition into the site plan of operation, saying short-term parking, shall be no more than X number, and long-term parking shall be no more than X number, if you want that memorialized as part of their plan of operation, outside of what they have in their description.
Does this phrase "during hours of operation" cover that? Because they obviously can't stay, if it's past 9 o'clock and there's something parked there. Does that close that loop, or does it not?
For longer term, it probably does. Like, it's the shorter term.
That paired with the no outdoor storage, I think would probably cover that, but.
Any other discussion?
Just clarifying, and we would not, as the rest of the commission feel, we don't need to have our fire department do any look-sees at it. Just confirming that.
They would look at it as part of their review before a building permit is issued, and they look at it for the state to issue the building, to approve the commercial buildings. So, I mean, they already look at it, so they're already involved.
So it sounds like that's covered, which is good.
Guess I'll make a motion to recommend that the Plan Commission make a recommendation to approve, or the town board to approve the conditional use for self-storage facility and tax key parcel DELT 0843.998.002, subject to the plan of operation and conditions noted herein, with the additional condition that short-term parking be defined as no more than 1 hour. Is that fair enough? Is there anything I'm missing in that? I know there's a series of conditions that Ms. Lato's outlined. I know we typically read these. Do we need to read all of these in?
My recommendation in your motion would be to say with the conditions noted in the staff report.
Okay. In addition to that motion with the conditions noted within the staff report.
Now, first motion on the conditional use and the second on the site plan operation.
Yes.
That's my understanding.
Any second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. And then the next item of unfinished business is consideration and possible action on a request from Warren Hansen, agent, on behalf of John Burgett, owner, for a site plan, plan of operation for a storage unit facility, North by Northwest Storage, on property located at State Highway 18, west of the We Energies Building, tax key DELT 0843998002. I mean, I don't know if there's anything additional, Ms. Lato, it seems like it was kind of covered. Anyone need more discussion? I know we've kind of rolled these in, and
that's
discussed
okay.
it already, yeah. The only thing I think, again, is that just the short term is no more than an hour, so we're consistent.
I'll make a motion that Plan Commission approves the site plan, plan of operation, self-storage facility on tax key parcel DELT 0843.998.002, subject to the following. The storage building shall be compliant with the architectural building plans dated August 27th, 2025, prepared by DDCA Architects. Civil and site plan shall be implemented as shown on the approved plans with a revision date of August 12th, 2025, as approved by the town engineer. Security lighting and license plate readers shall be implemented at a minimum as shown on the plan submitted by Initech dated July 14th, 2025. Condition number 4, landscaping shall be implemented within 4 months of occupancy as shown on the plans dated August 12th, 2025, prepared by Thomas Norlaw Associates. Number 5, the owner shall be responsible for the maintenance of all landscaping and maintaining the landscaping in good condition as to represent a healthy, neat, orderly appearance that shall be kept free of refuse and debris. The owner shall promptly replace any landscaping which has died or is damaged beyond repair. The replacement planting shall be the same size and quality as the approved landscape plan. The site landscaping shall be maintained perpetually in accordance with the approved landscaping plan. Number 6, all lands not used for buildings, parking lots, driveways, etc., shall be landscaped and kept in good appearance at all times, including required watering of lawns and shrubbery. Number 7, outdoor storage is prohibited. Number 8, the exterior of all structures, fences, planting screens, etc., shall be kept in good condition at all times by painting, trimming, or other acceptable maintenance procedures. Subsequent additions or changes in the buildings and grounds shall conform to or enhance the original construction and to be consistent therewith. Number 9, all activities on the subject property herein may not in any way become a nuisance by reasons of appearance, noise, dust, smoke, illumination, odor, or any other similar factor. Condition number 10, an up-to-date site plan, plan of operation must be on file at all times with the town of Delafield. Number 11, the town reserves the right to review any condition imposed as part of the conditional use and/or site plan, plan of operation if said use becomes a problem in the area. The town plan commission may modify, change, delete, add, etc., any conditions in which they feel may be reasonable to allow this use to ensure it does not become a detrimental to the surrounding area. Number 12, the condominium declaration of restrictions shall be submitted for review and approval of the town plan commission and town board prior to the condominium plat being recorded. The restrictions shall include, at a minimum, operational details noted herein, maintenance responsibilities of landscaping, open space and stormwater management, and number 13, define short-term parking as no more than 1 hour. For a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And the next item on the agenda is new business, consideration and possible action on a request from Michael and Deborah Carrick, owners, W289 N3089 West Lakeside Drive, for approval of a two-lot certified survey map, tax key number DELT 0767.005.003, 0767.005.005, and 0767.024. Ms. Lado?
Okay, so we have another certified survey map that is being proposed by Mike Carrick. The lot is, let's just go to the GIS here. The CSM lands consist of this lot here and come down all the way of West Lakeside Drive and go around like this. And essentially what he's doing is moving the lot line. So this north lot is going to get a little bit smaller, and the south lot here that has his existing residence on it is going to get a little bit bigger. There is some topography on this lot and some environmental corridor, just a little topography. That encompasses the lot as well. When you turn on this corridor layer, which is not just woodlands, it also has to do with slope as well. It's cutting out where the house is. That's how SORPAC maps things. They consider that to be developed, right? So they take it out of the corridor already. So if you ever see that cutout, that's what that is, just for reference. The CSM has been reviewed by the surveyor at R.A. Smith and then also by myself, and comments have been given. I did receive a revised one last week that met the conditions. They were very minor conditions that don't change anything. I have them up here. If you want to see these conditions, let me know that. I don't think Tim was in that practice of kind of showing all the conditions. CSMs are, I know, going on to the town board too, it's a little bit different because Tim was a surveyor. I am not, and the town engineer is not. So it actually has to go to a surveyor at R.A. Smith and is reviewed by me. So it takes a little bit longer and to actually get a final CSM. So instead of waiting and waiting, because you're time bound to act on these, I send out what the comments are, wait for a revision. So all of these were very minor comments. There was a placeholder that was missing, just showing any existing or proposed easements. If there are any that are missing, that's kind of a standard condition. I had a question about the extraterritorial. I think it might be Heartland, but the surveyor is saying Delafield, so I just want them to verify that.
Yeah, I got a question on, I mean, I believe it should say the city of Pewaukee,
Oh, really?
because the city of Pewaukee has traditionally waived their extraterritorial.
I think that Heartland is closer, though.
Okay.
So I just want them to verify which is, but that's also good to know. I think that if it is, Delafield does not waive it, Pewaukee does. So if it is waived, it would be Pewaukee, but I think Heartland is actually closer, so they need to verify that. What's that? They are?
Yes.
All right, well, you've got yourself another meeting after that then with Heartland. You got to go there too, don't forget. Right, this is just a lot line adjustment.
Wait, sir, if you'd like to speak, you have to just go up to the microphone, please.
Yeah, so this is just a lot line adjustment. The only unique thing about it is that this lot here, this south lot, is actually tied to this lake lot here, this riparian lot, Lot 1A. Back in 2004, they received a variance to construct a boathouse on this lot. Waukesha County ordinance says you can't have an accessory structure without a principal structure being present. The owner at the time owned both of these lots, as Mr. Carrick does right now. So they're tied together either until the boathouse is removed or until someone builds a house on that lot. So it's not a part of the CSM lands, but the restriction carries over on the CSM. CSMs are a pretty great place to put those kind of notes. They always show up in title, and they're just what people look at, surveyors look at, developers look at for anything that's kind of odd about a lot. So that note carries over, but that land is not specifically part of the CSM, but you can kind of see it there in that not to scale outline that they put on there. So that's the only thing that's a little bit unusual about it.
Go ahead, sir.
I was going to say, this basically is just a simple lot line adjustment. I'm going through a lot of hoops to move the lot line over. 14 feet or something like that. So if Heartland or Pewaukee or anybody ended up, it's not like we're creating a new lot.
No, I think everyone understands the issue is there's hoops that we didn't create to go through. And so, and that,
I'm
and,
not sure why you have to go back to anybody other than the town and the county.
Well, state statute has extraterritorial land division review authority.
But what are they gonna object to it?
So I think,
And if they object to it, then basically I'll just go back to the lot I have, I
yeah,
guess.
so in 11 years, I've never had any
Nobody ever does.
city or village ever deny a CSM. The scope that they have to do that is, it's really narrow. I think it'd be like you're obstructing a road that leads to them. And I think really the point of it is for them to look to see if
Yeah.
the town ever dissolved and got incorporated into Heartland in this case, something isn't happening here that they have a problem with that goes against their land use plans. But it's, yeah, it's not, I don't think it's going to stop your
Well, I don't think so either. It's
CSM
just
from
like, it's
happening.
I've been doing this for 6-7 months now,
Yeah.
and I never thought it'd be that difficult. I probably wouldn't have done it if I would've known that.
you're almost there.
No. And I do this, you know,
You're almost there.
this is my business. I do these. I've never had one, such a simple thing, snowball into so many meetings and quite frankly, a lot of cost. So, if I have to go to Heartland, I don't know what do I have to do, go talk to Heartland and say,
I think what's probably the best is if you just talk to staff, and, you know, the staff is there, and so you can call the office and talk to the staff after the meeting.
And
We can do
Heartland.
our piece here today, and then you can work with staff to deal with the rest of it.
you talk
Sound
about the
fair?
Heartland stuff?
No, you can talk to the staff here, and then they'll direct you to where you have to go next.
Why don't you call me tomorrow?
Yeah, well,
okay.
if it's a matter of just stopping by Heartland Village Hall, I can stop and talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say reach out to staff, and then
Okay.
they can,
Okay.
tomorrow, and then they can discuss it.
Okay, so you'll pass this and it just
We're gonna
contingent on that.
talk about whether they're gonna pass it.
Is there any other discussion?
Adjustments. I'm taking something for granted, I guess.
Yeah, no,
I think
it's
it's
okay,
in line
it's
of
okay.
what we do. I mean, I think we just need to, they're the, unfortunately, the hoops that we do need to jump through. So, I mean, I'll motion that the Plan Commission makes a recommendation to the town board to approve the certified survey map at W289 and 3089 West Lakeside Drive, subject to the following conditions being satisfied prior to the town signing the final CSM, inclusive of the technical comments that would be made by our town planner, town engineer, town attorney, if applicable, shall be addressed, and that all Waukesha County and extraterritorial review entity comments, if applicable, shall be addressed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Thank
motion
you.
carries. Thank you, sir.
I do have hard copies.
They have them.
So let's go to the town board next week.
Did you print them off of,
Yeah.
okay.
All right, and then any other further items for discussion?
Nope.
And the next meeting is October 7th, 2025, at 6:30 PM.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Good evening, everyone.